Hi, I'm Simon, aka Twizey, and this is a discussion on my thoughts, interests, and experience. It's a prickly issue, but one that needs to be more discussed, accepted, and approached. Mental health, and particularly mental health in ethnic minority men. In the United Kingdom, 1 in 4 adults in England experience mental health problems, and according to Mental Health UK, 12.5% of men have a diagnosed mental health disorder. In America, approximately 1 in 5 people experience a mental health illness each year, with 5% of them being men. Of that proportion, an estimated 25% of African Americans have sought treatment. The World Health Organization noted that in 2021, 13.9% of the world's population experienced mental disorders, affecting 1 in 8 men, or approximately 970 million men worldwide. And this was at the beginning of COVID, so you can imagine what that figure is now. Mental health can affect anyone, does affect everyone, and comes in all forms and variations. WHO, which is the World Health Organization, describes mental health as mental health is a state of mental well being that enables people to cope with the stresses of life, realize their abilities, learn well, work well, and contribute to their community. It's not just simply the absence of mental health, it includes how we think, feel, act, manage stress, relate to others, make choices. This can be everyday activities, dealing with that awkward colleague, listening to that rant on the bus that triggers you, listening to the radio presenter belittling your beloved football team, or it could be a new medical diagnosis you've been told that you have, or you've broken up in your relationship, you've had a close person to you pass away, or you've just had a hard, bad day. Full stop. It's whatever triggers you in a way that adversely changes your line of thinking. Does everyone understand that? No, they won't. And they might not realize when you're having that change in feeling or mood, that thing that has made you feel anxious or that you need them to stop what they're doing. A mental disorder is different. It relates to a medical diagnosis. WHO goes on to say the following. According to the Diagnostic and Statistic Manual of Mental Health Disorders and WHO, a mental health disorder or mental illness is a clinically significant disturbance in an individual's cognition, emotional regulation, or behavior that reflects a dysfunctional in psychological, biological, or developmental processes. It typically causes distress or impairment in social, occupational, or other important areas of functioning. It can include conditions such as depression, anxiety disorders, bipolar disorders, schizophrenia, post traumatic stress disorders, and substance use disorders. These can all create a feeling of untrust in a person, that they don't know who to listen to, who to believe, what to believe. There's also the stigma to it. It's one thing being a man and the associated perception to that and how you're going to react to certain things or what you shouldn't react to. You're a man, so you should know how to behave this way. Of course, that's not the case. There's also another perception when you are of ethnicity and then attempting to explain how you feel to someone you can relate to and not feel belittled. And it can be difficult as well. I'm a nurse, and I've worked in many different environments and situations, as well as seeing a range of different people and their problems, which I've supported them with and guided them to information and treatment. But I've also been in that position where something has happened and I've felt a certain way and I've needed to seek help. A few years ago, I was working in the community as a district nurse. I had had a long, hard day, and at the end of it, I was racially assaulted. I had my car vandalized. Lucky I wasn't hurt during the period, but still, I was emotional and I was psychologically stunned. My car windows had been smashed and I was sitting in the car. I had people coming up to me who had seen everything, offering me help and asking me, did I need something? I didn't know what to think. I knew I had to get out of the road, and as I started driving, I felt overwhelmed. Nothing like this had happened to me before. I found it hard to even explain to people what had happened. and that affected me. I couldn't go to work. I was checking everybody who looked in my direction to see if something was going to happen again. I found it difficult talking to my colleagues. They had never heard of anything happening like that. I gave some thought to this, and I concluded that this was likely because I was literally the only black male nurse working in the community at the time, with the majority of the nurses being female and white. I was asked if I wanted some counselling, and my first reaction was no, I'm good, thank you. Then there was this incident when I went to the shop and I thought someone was shouting at me, that wasn't the case, but I reacted in the wrong way. Afterwards, I said to myself that I did have a problem, and I went back and I asked for the counselling. Having the time to talk about how I was feeling, how I was anxious at the time, and how I was low in mood, I started to realize it was affecting everything, and it allowed me to slowly try to get back to normalities. I also had my close family and friends support me through these periods, and even when I would tell them that I was good, they had the sense of mind to check in on me and tell me, no, you're not okay, and you're here if I need you to chat. And to those that did pull me to one side and listen to me try to explain my feelings when I was so vulnerable, thank you. It was so hard for me to do that up to that point. I've never had to deal with that. So, yeah, thank you for that. I think that the main point I want to get across is that talking to someone and either talking about how you're feeling or just offloading that information about what has happened can dramatically improve the way you feel about yourself, feel about the situation and your experience, and give you the confidence you need to either seek help professionally or go and out and get the information you need and the support you need. Also, today's society exposes us to the realities of our dreams and the depths of our despairs, where we can go onto the social media and we've got all these other things that can distract us from the realities of what actually what's happening in our life. And we can easily get trapped in a situation that we could find hard to get out of. Doing things will help that, such as going to the gym, which I try to do regularly. I'm not the healthiest, fittest person, but going out and doing a routine and keeping it regular has really helped me with having a sense of I've done something, and I get a real good feeling from it from doing weights, which I particularly enjoy. It's good to have good health and in your mind, body, and soul. I also take one day of the month to do a self care and a maintenance day, so to say. Usually involves me going and having my hair cut, seeing my podiatrist, and if I got a bit more money and I'm feeling flush, buying something nice for myself that I didn't actually need, which could be anything from like a piece of clothing, such as a t shirt, or buying some extra shares. Um, what I would say is if you do think that you're experiencing something a bit more serious and it's affecting your ability to function and carry out everyday activities, then please go and see your doctor, your GP, or a health specialist. And they'll either see you then and there or they'll direct you to the people who can help you. And if you're having a bad day, talk to someone about it and move on. I want to finish off. So I watched a show called Market Mondays that I watch regularly, and this one time they had Steve Harvey on the show, and he was talking and spoke about the fact that he had a really low time in his life, and then he was told that you're here today, and all the other times that you thought that you've had the worst day in your life, that it couldn't get any better, you've overcome it. So you've got 100% success rate from moving on from the baddest, hardest days that you've experienced, and you should always move forward and be positive. I keep that in mind when I'm dealing with something stressful. So, thank you for watching, and also like and subscribe and leave a comment. Take care. Bye bye.